it out, without a doubt. I'm laughing in the face of DNA. Blew a little late, but that's okay. I'm gonna get it. You 28, baby face, legally a man, but that's only. You're gonna be a facial hair machine. There I said it. Don't quit your day.
Hello, Wiffle Nation, and welcome to the 14th episode of the Huntington Wiffle League podcast. I'm your host, Josh Smith, with my co-hosts,
Greg Sowards
and Patrick Rayl,
and our producer,
Jeremy Litton.
It's our first episode since January, and we have had our winter meeting since then, and we have 7 returning teams out of 8 spots total. Hopefully we'll fill that 8th spot before April 7th for the season opener. The teams are as follows. So far as the divisional drawings have deemed fit, we have in the River City Division, Sit on My Base, Chicken and Wiffles, Bag Tag, and then there's an open spot. And then for the Jewel City, we have the Breaking Balls, Whiffling Dixie, the Huntington Whifflers, and then the Asthmatics. Okay, so let's rank these 7 teams. I'll go first. I have Sit on My Base on top, Breaking Balls in second, Paul Hudson's new team, the Asthmatics, in third, Ronnie Canterbury's Chicken and Wiffles, formerly the Wiffle Ballers, and Team Bag Tag. Yes. Fuck. Okay. I have Sit on My Base on top.
Of course you would.
Fuck. Alright, I have Sit on My Base on top, Breaking Balls, the Asthmatics, Chicken and Wiffles, Team Bag Tag, the Huntington Whifflers, and then Whiffling Dixie. Greg, what do you have?
Fuck you, Josh.
What do you have, Greg?
Fuck you, Josh.
I need 7 teams here.
So my rankings are... I got Breaking Balls at number 1. You gotta go with a 20-0 team.
God.
They didn't go 20-0.
They didn't go 20-0. They lost.
In the
They,
regular season.
they went 20-0 in the regular
They lost
season.
But that doesn't
They-
matter when tournament time comes around.
They were
lost to
21-1. We're talking...
See, I told you there was going to be debate.
A broken team. They lost to a broken team.
They lost to a team who actually won the championship.
That doesn't matter.
That was
They
broken.
still lost. You admit they lost. They're not 20-0. Give
They were
numbers a while.
20. They're 21-1 then.
It still doesn't matter.
Whatever.
Did they have the championship?
Sit on My Base, who I personally don't believe are the best part to Sit on My Base, because that would be offensive to Jeremy, who's sitting right here with us. He was the one
I
of the
love
best
you
parts. For number 3, I got Bag Tag.
Why do you have bag tag at number 3, Greg?
Bag Tag at number 3. If they've got Steven, he's a pretty decent pitcher. If he hits the board.
And by the way,
It doesn't
what
get
is
pissed
the
off.
status of his return?
Status.
So far, I hear it's pretty good.
Okay.
He's the last person on the team that has yet to pay his registration.
Well, he was always the last person at the tournament, but
And you know what happened on the last day of the tournament? He didn't even show up.
neither did either member from Bag Tag. So,
And you put them at third.
hey, they showed up during the
Son of
regular.
a bitch.
In 4th, I have the Asthmatics. Got a lot of respect for Josiah Chapman. None for Paul.
That's hurtful.
In 5th, I got Whiffling Dixie. That's my team. In 6th, I've got Chicken and Wiffles.
Yeah, not on the bottom.
Don't have a lot of respect for this team.
That's hurtful.
I got respect for Jacob. I think he'll be carrying a lot of weight this year, and he may crush under it. He doesn't have as much talent as he had with.
Are you trying to call him fat?
No.
Yes.
That's what
Yes,
it sounds
he is.
like.
Fat in the way of skills in wiffle
He has fat skills.
He has fat
It's
skills.
PHAT, Josh.
And last, because we have no idea what the Whifflers are bringing to the table. I mean, you can't really rank a team you don't know anything about.
They would have had
Except
more
for if
opportunity
your
to play in
name's
fall
Josh
ball.
Smith.
Well, fall ball was a bust. They had like 2 or 3 people show up.
You know whose fall ball was a bust? Josh Smith's.
Okay. Patrick, what are your rankings?
All right, I have Sit on My Base at number 1. We have Nick Capra on the mound, Jeremy Ray, Andrew Westcott, and Kevin, and Jacob Dunkel. It's a strong team.
You didn't mention yourself, Pat.
Well, that's because I'm going to be Breakout Player of the Year. That's right. I'm calling it. Cy Wiffle, Breakout Player of the Year, MVP, all three. Triple crown. Going to happen. Mostly because I'm voting on all three of them.
Do this shit.
Okay.
Number 2 is going to be Chicken Wiffles. I feel like Josh can actually do something on a team, maybe.
Yeah, this would be the first time I'd actually be on a team that
but-
might not suck.
But with Ronnie running teams, I think Ronnie can really he'll make some strategy that will change everything up. I think number 3 is going to be Breaking Balls. They're a good team, but they've lost some key players. Number 4, I'll go with the Asthmatics. Paul Hisson has shown that he knows how to recruit, and you'll never know what kind of team he's going to bring. Number 5 would be the Wifflers. They're an unknown, so I'm putting them in the middle. 6 would be Wiffle and Dixie, because they have Greg, so they'll probably win 2 games.
Just win some.
And back tag with Steven not paying yet. I don't know how strong they're going to be. So and
Yeah,
they're in a
they have
tough-
the smallest roster so
and
far.
they're in the toughest division.
Yeah.
If the divisions stay, they'd struggle in that division. So
With Steven, they only have 4 people, and as far as I know, they haven't added any more people to the roster. So
those are my rankings.
Jeremy, what are your rankings?
All right, at number 1, I have Team Bag Tag. Brandon, Zach, and Brian are hangry for a win, and they will beat your all's asses. 2, Sit on My Base. This combo team will dominate, especially since Patrick Rayl is at the helm. 3, Breaking Balls. Why are they number 3? Because 1, Drew can't throw from 48 feet, but he can throw at 45, and that's going to make a difference whenever Greg actually sets the line straight for once. 4, the Asthmatics, because with the
I like how you said there's 3 reasons. 1, Drew can't throw for 48 feet. Next team! Fuck it, go with it, go.
all right, and you know what? Fuck the other 2 reasons.
You're trying to make a rankings list inside a rankings list. Just stick to it, man. Come on.
All right. Fuck the other reasons. Asthmatics, number 4, because with a team name like that, you know, they're better than all the rest of them on the list. That being the Wifflers. I have no clue who they are, so they're number 5 because they absolutely have to be better than Greg's pitching, which is number 6, Whiffling Dixie. And number 7, Wiffles and Chicken, or Chicken and Wiffles, however you want to say it, because Josh, team captain, or team
I'm not
jokester.
the team captain.
Oh, that's why they're number 7.
Patrick, I swear to God. I just said everyone needs to turn their cell phones down before we start recording.
Pandora opening up.
Why is your you have no good explanation for that. Why no one's calling you. It's like, nah, Pandora just turned on.
It does.
Why? No, you're the only person I know. Pandora just comes on. Your cell phone's like, I know what this
You have
conversation
my
needs.
rankings.
All right. Okay, so the National Wiffle League tournament keeps changing how they do things. They are making it a mandate that if you want to participate in the tournament in Columbus, you need to participate in your respected regional tournament that'll be in either the South, the Midwest, or the East. I don't know if there's other divisions or not. They're kind of willy-nilly about this.
What about the West?
For doubling down on this idea, I don't think they're really executing
I'm
it
pretty
that
sure
well.
we're in the West because we're in West Virginia.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, it makes sense. But all I know is there's only 2 leagues that have applied to host, and that's Backyard Wiffle Ball League in Pennsylvania, which is not our region, and then the Skeeby Wiffle Ball League in St. Louis, which is again not in our region. So,
At least we hope so.
no, that's the Midwest. There's not really that many leagues in the South that come to mind. There's our league, Wiffle Atlanta, I know that Tim Stewart's league, Eastern Tennessee Wiffle, has applied to participate in the tournament. So that is the only other Southern league to apply other than Tampa. Tampa's too far away. So maybe I think...
hot.
Yeah, it's really hot, too, in the summer. They don't play in the summer for a reason.
And
So
everybody speaks Spanish.
it's no bueno to play in Tampa. So we're kicking around the idea of possibly hosting the tournament. Patrick, do you have anything you want to say about that? Thumbs up. All right.
HWL regional host NWL tournament.
Sure, why not? We could host it.
2015.
There's tons of open space with nothing going on around here.
Yep.
No problem. We set up 4 fields. No problem. It doesn't have to be at our... It's probably not going to be at St. Cloud. I think that would be a bad idea.
There's not a lot of parking.
Yeah.
Or hire gangs to shoot people at walk.
It would have to... We shank the people that walk.
Don't worry, there's no gang
There will be
violence
no
here.
walking around here.
I think you're going to be wanting to swing at that one. They're going to be limping the first base. But it would have to be somewhere else. There's tons of other parks
If you hear
and
the
just
banjos playing.
I think
turn
we're
around.
we're good distance away. We're 3 hours away from Columbus. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense to have it here.
it'd be easy for us. And there's not like a lot of other Southern leagues wanting to get involved right now. We have
not
plenty of
too hot.
space. And it's not too hot like in Tampa.
The
And
cost of staying in a hotel here is reasonable.
really cheap. It's easy to get here. We have 3 interstates going through the state. So I think this will be a great place to host. We have till April 4th to apply. I think we should do it. I don't know. Really, the only other league I could see possibly hosting would be Potomac in D.C. I'm assuming Chris would not really be that interested in hosting it. I'm sure he would if he had to, but there's no way that we'd be able to do it at the place that they play now. I forget the name. It's like Gravely Point Park or something. It's really close to Reagan International Airport, and it's really windy. There's not a lot of space. Parking's an issue, and it just would not be an ideal setting for that type of an event.
I'm gonna put my shit in the ground, 'cause I don't like that garbage hanging around. I'm gonna drive my van off a cliff, 'cause I am way too lazy to trade it all in. And I'll walk away, I will turn around, and I'll use my magic eye to pull into a better dimension.
Happy birthday. What you wearing?
I'm going to record with this thing too. Just
Hello.
is this Ronnie?
Hello.
Is this Ronnie?
See. Wow. Take something that fixed. Yes, it is.
Is
Is this
Ronnie,
Joshua?
is this Ronnie Canterbury?
Sure is.
Is this
You
Ron-
just won $1 million.
Yeah, right.
Happy birthday!
Oh, well, thank you. My birthday's not till tomorrow, but
I told you it wasn't until tomorrow.
yeah, you gotta
I didn't-
I got some money.
Hey.
Patrick's a lying asshole. He said it was your birthday today.
No, it's tomorrow.
Okay,
But thank you for the premature birthday thing.
a premature birthday. Okay,
Yep.
all right.
So tomorrow.
Okay, so we're going to ask you a few questions. We've got recording on the phone now. We'll see how it comes through, and we'll just patch you into the episode here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your team, Chicken and Wiffles? Give us an overview of the team, please.
Established this year. Picked up, of course, the commissioner, Joshua.
That's not me.
Picked up a huge free agent in Jacob Fisher. And then have a carryover from last year's team, Justin Fairman, and then another pitcher to the squad, Rick Patterson.
Cool.
Now, how are you going to handle Josh and his sucky at bat?
You're going to have to repeat that. I can barely hear you.
Patrick wants to know how you're going to... He wants to know how you're going to handle my crappy offensive performance.
I don't think Patrick's ever seen himself play, but I would take Josh over Patrick any day of the week offensively.
Okay.
Josh just got the snub because he was on an awful team last year, and he was the all-star and had to do it all. So.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ronnie.
So you're on the rules committee this year.
Yes.
We had probably about a half a dozen major rules changes that occurred, and some of the more controversial ones, even within the rules committee, are dropping down to 2 fielders in the outfield and switching the pitcher's poison.
Right.
You're just, unsolicited input from this. Like, where do you stand on this? Because a lot of people, the whole winter meeting became, these 2 things became very central to the meeting and kind of put everyone on their heels for a second. So now that we've had probably a month or so to think about it, give us your honest opinions of those 2 major changes.
I like both of them, to be honest with you. It helps the offense, which we needed last year, because there was too many extra inning games and not a lot of runs scored. It just gets your defense from, not being lazy, because instead of having 3 people out there not doing much, you'll have 2 fielders that actually have to pay attention to the game. With the pitcher's poison, it's just like, if you were playing a standard baseball game, you always try to get the lead run. But fortunately, like you said, during the winter meetings, there was just a lot of ifs and buts. But, you just have to, implicate it in the in spring training, see how it works out. But I'm sure it'll work, pretty good.
Okay, cool. I can't really think of any more questions. Do you guys have any more questions? Do you have a pen handy?
Do I have a pen handy?
Yeah.
I'm actually driving, but...
Okay. We were doing an exercise at the beginning of this podcast. We're almost done with the entire podcast, and
okay.
We have 7 teams right now. We're trying very hard to get that 8th team.
Right.
So we just sort of took the divisions apart and just threw all 7 teams together, and we ranked them from how we think teams will finish from first to last. If you want, I can call up the list of teams to you, and you can also give us your rankings just for fun.
Well, however you want to do it, I can go ahead and tell you who I think would finish, first to last.
Okay.
Based off of last year's roster.
All right.
God, I will have to say, sit on my base, probably number 1, just because they had those 2 teams last year were pretty solid, and they have just the all-star team more or less. So I think on paper they're number 1. Number 2's got to be Drew McClanahan and breaking balls.
Yeah.
Just because Drew is a monster on the mound, but due with the innings, he may not. I don't know. We'll see if they come up with another team. I think 3, not to be biased or anything, but I think it'll be Chicken Wiffles.
Wow.
Just because we have Fisher, left-handed pitcher. I mean, he was pretty solid last year. And we have 4 players that have pitched in an actual game, so I think that helps us a little bit. I don't know about the new team that I think his name's Brad Berg.
Yeah.
I'm not sure much about that team, but I'm going to go ahead and throw them last because they haven't actually played a game yet. I'd say after us will be probably Paul Hessen's team. I'm not sure who he has on the team, but Paul's a solid player. He's been around for a few years. I forgot about bag tag. Bag tag will be good. It just depends on Steven's a hell of a pitcher. Just depends if he gets down on himself like he did last year. But I kind of blame that on his teammates like myself because we didn't produce a lot of runs for him. So he was trying to do too much for himself. But him and Zach and Brandon, that's a good squad. So I don't know. It'd probably be between for the championship. I'm not sure with the division since it'll be 7 teams and we haven't added an 8. But I'd say my favorite right now will be Sit on My Base, and I'd say sleeper will probably be Chicken Wiffles.
All right. Yeah, if we don't have an 8 team, we're just going to nix just be all 7 teams just fighting.
Of course, you always have a female to mess things up. Good job, Stephanie Sadler.
Yeah, if it weren't for Ryan Wiffles dropping out, we'd have a pretty smooth transition from last year going.
Right.
You guys have any more questions for him?
Ask away.
Mm.
What are his thoughts on wine and Wiffles leading?
Jeremy wants to know what your thoughts are on Wine and Wiffles packing it in.
But one more time, I can barely hear you.
Jeremy would like to know why you think Wine and Wiffles packed it in, or just your thoughts overall on it.
Something about Wine and Wiffles.
Yeah, Jeremy wants to know your thoughts on them dropping out.
Well, it was just, I hate to say this, but I don't see them winning a game, period. I mean, Stephanie, I've known her my whole life, but she's a stud. But out of all the other ones, I think they would have been there, but they would have more or less been the whooping boy out of all the teams, to be honest. So,
that's bad.
I mean, yeah, it feels teams, but I think it would be considered a more or less a glorified practice for anybody that's playing that week.
All right, that's interesting.
His opinions on hosting a region.
Okay, Patrick wants to know what your opinion is of our league possibly hosting a regional version of the NWA tournament for the South region.
Oh, that'd be perfect. I mean, you've been everybody on the committee's been there for longer than I have, so everybody knows what's going on. Bad thing is you got to hope the weather's nice because our field's flood. So,
yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it'd be perfect. I mean, I think perfect location. I don't see what the problem would be, and plus it beats us from traveling, so I'm down for it.
What about the possibility of it being away from St. Cloud Commons going to another field in Huntington?
That wouldn't be a problem. Just depending on what field you would want to go to. There's plenty in Huntington. So, I mean, I've met a few people that are on the Huntington Parks and Industrial board. So, if we put our cards right, we might be able to play some night games too, maybe on Barfield or something.
Nice. Okay, well, that's all the questions we have, Ronnie, so thanks for your time.
I need some more questions. If you're going to get me from getting pulled over and get a ticket for talking and driving at the same time, I need some more questions.
Okay, if you had to pick between getting punched in the face every day the rest of your life, or get one ball removed, what would you pick?
Well, both my balls are removed, so I'm married, so that wouldn't be a big thing. I don't know, man. Life is a punch in the face just about every day for me.
Punch in the face every day?
I would rather have I don't know, man. I'd lose a little bit of weight with a ball removed. I don't know. I'd probably take a nut removed.
Get a nut removed? All right.
Yeah, sure. And then you guys can do whatever you want with it.
All right, Patrick wants to know which team you'd like to start a rivalry with this year.
Oh God, is that a trick question? He should already know. Actually, it'll be Paul's team for sure. I mean, I don't have anything against Paul, but of course, that there's a few teammates of mine that do. And what's funny is he had just messaged me today wanting to scrimmage on Tuesday, which I don't know if that'll be a good idea or not. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have a rival myself because I get along with everybody, but Paul seemed to rub everybody the wrong way that's on our current roster, so it'll definitely be Paul's team. But that game will be over before it starts because we'll be in Paul's head before the first pitch is even thrown.
Okay.
So,
any other questions?
I got a question for Patrick.
Okay.
Are you coaching this year, or are you actually going to play?
What was that supposed to mean?
Huh?
I'm playing. There was never a question that I wasn't going to play this year.
Well, I just thought it would help your team out if you didn't, if you just coached.
I'd help your team if I did.
Hey, whatever. But yeah, I appreciate the making me have to almost go to Charleston to do a podcast, but I appreciate you let me talk to you fine gentlemen on the phone today.
Yeah, we're trying to perfect doing phone-in
Interviews.
interviews to patch into the podcast. We tried it about a year ago, and it did not work out. But hopefully we can get this perfected, and maybe we can do a call in every episode to kind of.
Well, if I quit shooting up the club and shoot up the attic every once in a while, I've been able to make it. But the kids are top priority for me. So.
Children.
I've got 4.
Thanks, Ron.
All right, thanks, Ronnie. We'll see you in a couple weeks for spring training.
All right, you're welcome.
Later. Okay, that was Ronnie Canterbury, captain of the Chicken and Wiffles team. It's a mixture between the old Wiffle Ballers team and just sort of odds and ends from around the league. All right, before we wrap everything up, one of the key things at the winter meeting that took place, the focal point and the big takeaway was rule changes. We're trying to coincide more with NWA tournament rules, which may or may not be necessarily a good thing. We aren't completely conforming, but we're trying to make some key changes, moving the fences back, base distances, pitching distance, things like that. There's 2 major rules that we moved in favor of sort of out of the blue during that meeting. And that was dropping down to 2 fielders on defense, aside from the pitcher, and changing how pitcher's poison work. Pat, why don't you explain to us how the pitcher's poison thing played out?
Well, first we had it as pitcher poison only got the batter out, the runner running to first base. And that would happen whenever the ball would get to the pitcher's hand before the runner reached first base, obviously. The new rule, how I understand it, I think is how it's going to be implemented, is that if you have a runner on first and a batter up to bat, he hits the ball, he's running to first, the ball gets back to the pitcher before he reaches first, the runner heading from first to second is out. That's one of the key rule changes. I believe that's how the wording is going to go on it. And we'll see how it plays out.
Okay. So, and then we went more controversially from, we used to have it as 3 fielders backing up the pitcher, but at the tournament it's 2 fielders backing up the pitcher. And then we decided to move, by a narrow margin, down to 2 fielders. So, thoughts on that?
It's going to be good for my team. We have 6 players going to be able to rotate in constantly, and when Nick does move away to law school, we'll drop down to 5, be about at the league average. But we'll still be able to rotate players. It's not hurt the teams that only have four players, and they're having to rotate not as much, especially when they're going to have to try to save a pitcher for the second game because of the new pitcher rotation rules. So we'll see how that one works out too.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see the results.
Yeah, I think if we do that, we're going to be pretty limited on how far we're going to be able to push the fences back, because the fences are probably they're probably up to 80 feet down the line, which is 15 feet further than our old dimensions.
But it's all about competing at the tournament. That's what everyone keeps saying.
Yes.
It's all about competing at the tournament.
But it's the only way we would be able to have the cake and eat it too, is what I'm saying. I mean, going down to 2 fielders would be, it's doable if we don't push the fences back really far. Like, we're going to have to push them back at least 5 feet to make up for the fact that the bases are going to be an additional 5 feet down the line, right?
Right.
So maybe keep it at 5 feet or go to 10 feet. If we're going to do 15, 20 additional feet, even with 3 fielders, that would be difficult to do week in, week out. Because in other arguments we've had, the fielding was not difficult because we took our most athletic people up there. Presumably all the other teams in attendance did the same exact thing as well. So, okay, so we'll see how those rules turn out.
And just a reminder, the fielders are on a 2 spring training game test run.
Yeah.
And then it comes back to a league rules committee vote.
Yeah.
Captains can vote to change rules, and then it comes to the league rules committee to vote to see if those rules are implemented.
Yeah.
And
for commissioner
obviously,
approval. Yeah.
Commissioner has final approval of all rules. So
Yeah, and
just keep that in mind on any new rule changes or arguments. Captains do have a say, but not over the rules committee.
Right. But hopefully we get our 2 weeks of spring training. If we don't, we're going to have to beta test these into the season, unfortunately, and see how they go. Because we're not really going to be able to tell one way or another until we see the results for ourselves. So spring training starts March 24th, and then I think March 31st is the second date for it. We have 2 weeks before the spring spring training before the season starts. First day of the season's April 7th. If you haven't paid your registration yet, it is jumped to $40 for the late payment, since we're going to have to really hurry up on the shipping and pay extra to get things in. I'd say over 50% of the players have paid so far, but if you haven't paid, you need to do it now. Go to the website under About and join us and use the PayPal or send us a check and get in contact with the commissioner. Signing off for episode 14, I'm your host, Josh Smith, with my co-hosts,
Greg Sowards.
and
Patrick Rayl.
with our producer and guest co-host,
Jeremy Litton.
We'll talk to you soon.
My guts are twisted from that burger I ate in the parking lot in the dark, and I don't like what I see looking back.